Hi, welcome to another Bandlab for Education video. This one's looking at the drum machine and to do with how do you basically use the different time signatures. Okay, if you're recording in live, you can record in live and use the metronome and record to those time signatures quite easily. But there are some aspects to do with the drum machine that it's not as straightforward, and I've got a few workarounds that might help you deal with the different types of time signatures that you can use. So hopefully, if you find this useful, definitely subscribe, hit the like button, and let's get into this one. Okay. Okay, here we are in the mixer, and I've got a few things set up ready for us to go. So as I said before, I'm using the drum machine. So to add the drum machine, that's using this one. So it's a MIDI drum machine. So what else have I got sorted out? I've slowed down the beats per minute for this particular little tutorial. We can play around with the time signatures here by changing the first number and the second number. And then we've got the metronome that's going to be dealing with giving us our main beats depending on the time signature. So my first example, let's deal with 4/4. Okay, this is generally the default setting for most of these things. To bring up the machine, we click on instrument down there, and this is the default rhythm. Okay, and we can hear this by hitting the play button. We can add it in by hitting the add button, and we can play it. Okay, and what does it look like? Let's have a look at what this rhythm looks like. And this is going to help us understand a little bit of how these drum machine works and how you can create your own rhythms. So I've got this rhythm sitting here just above, and I've got the rhythm here in the dots. So let's have a look here. Everything in the grey area, light grey, then we've got a dark grey area, another light grey, and then there's another dark grey area here. Each one of these pretty much represents a crotchet beat in most of our simple time signatures in 4/4 and those sorts of things. So if we've got that in mind, this can be subdivided down to a semiquaver in most of these. There's a few differences in the other time signatures, and we'll get over those in a second. So here I've got my kick drum there, and that would be this one down here. Over here we've got our snare drum, and that's sitting roughly there. I can't quite put my mouse over that image, but I can put it just underneath it. And then we've got our other kick drums, two kick drums together, so there are our beam quavers there, and our last quaver is over there. Okay, all of our hi-hats here, they're the X notes going across the top. I should put my mouse up there, going across the top. Okay, and so that's a representative of 4/4. Hopefully that was pretty easy. So you're dealing with crotchet beats and a semiquaver subdivision. Okay, let's move along. Let's jump down to my next one. So I'll mute that one. And we'll go to 3/4. Okay, we'll jump to the little rhythm I've got here. I've got two rhythms to have a look at here. Okay, so let's click on this one. So my A rhythm. So I've created this one here. With each of the different tracks you have got from A to H rhythms that you can use. So you can have, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 rhythms that are different on each track. And that gives you a lot of possibilities of creating different rhythms for different tracks and then using them again across the different tracks as to how you might copy and paste it. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. We'll change the time signature. And you'll notice that shifts where the beats are. Okay, so I'm doing this as an example as I'm changing the time signature for each track, but normally you just keep that set for the whole entire song. There isn't a way of changing time signatures within a song. So once you set your time signature, you generally keep it for the song, unless you get a little bit creative. But for the most part, you leave your time signature for the whole song. Here, we've got the music here. So this first example, so we're going to put it, here's my mouse. So this example here is what I've got in the drum machine here. So And you'll notice that, again, we're in 4/4. This light grey, dark grey, light grey, and I've got nothing in the last dark grey there. So I'm only using the equivalent of 3 of the crotchet beats. Now, if I hit the play button here, we get this beat of silence. My computer's struggling here. It's got a few glitches, but will persist. We've got this beat of silence. But when you paste them into the project, here I've got 3 there. Let's have a listen from over here. Okay, it only uses the rhythm from a MIDI perspective for the full bar. Okay, if I fill that up, you create some, it will go over the bar line into the next bar. But if you only use the 3 crotchet beats worth in this 3/4 time signature, it's going to work very well. Now I've got another rhythm here. Let's go to my B rhythm. And I might just jump this ahead just a little bit. Okay, so I've got a slightly different rhythm. Let's just hear it over here. Okay, so that's giving me, again, a bit of silence there when I'm playing the pattern, okay? And so that's this second rhythm that I've got up in the notation there. Let's put this one in by adding it in. There we go. So that's literally only filled the bar. And I've got this set to there. Let's move that over. Let's just add a couple there so you can hear it repeat. Okay, and so that's lining up with all the bar lines and things. Let's see if it sounds okay with the metronome. And that's lining up with the metronome as well, which is pretty cool. If I filled this last bar and then tried to paste them in there, you'll end up with some issues. But as long as the metronome is, or the tempo is set to the right term signature, you've filled out the right number of beats for 3/4, you're able to use this straight into there. Let's move on to the next time signature. So next one, I've got 5/4. Here's where things get a little bit tricky. Okay, so let's click on this one and unmute the 5/4 one. And I'll go to the notation, what this one looks like. Okay, so let's have a closer look at what I've got here. So I've got a C rhythm, which is going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4 beats, but I've got to get a 5th beat in there. Okay, so what I've done is created another rhythm worth of 1 beat. So across my C and D rhythms here, I've got my 5 beats. Okay, so let's have a listen here at what that sounds like, and I'll show you how I pasted it in there. Okay, hopefully that's making a bit of sense. So let's have a go at pasting that in there. So what I did is I started off with my C rhythm and I added that. Okay, wait a minute, what I haven't done is change my time signature. Let's delete that and try it again and put it on a bar line, add it in. Okay, and so we've got that added in there. Yep, I've got that added in there. Now, this is filling up the whole entire thing from, I'm starting this at bar 6, finishing it at bar 7. Now, the tricky thing is, I need 1 beat, and when you zoom in here, you can see the subdivisions. It might not pick it up on the screen, but when you look closely, and you might have to get the zoom right, you can see the subdivisions of the beats. So if I come to here, so that's where my faint line is, and go to my D rhythm, and then paste in this rhythm, I've now got my D rhythm starting from there. But remember, this is now going to be a whole blank bar's worth. Okay, let's just play that much. And then I've got nothing there. So what I need to now do, from on the beat, I can take my trimmed down version, copy that. So I'm using my shortcuts for copy and paste. On my Mac, it's Command C and then Command V. I think on Windows, it's Control possibly. I'm not a Windows user, so whatever your copy command shortcuts, it works the same way. So I'll paste that in, and that paces wherever I've got the cursor. So now it's now trimmed up my D rhythm nicely. So let's just play that bit. Okay, and now I can literally make sure my cursor is in the right spot, right there. If I copy my now shortened D rhythm, paste that where the cursor is, now I've got my full bar. So if I now want to duplicate that, I can highlight those, do a copy, and paste that and duplicate it wherever I need, and I've got my 5/4 bar, which is the equivalent of these two files there. Okay. Another thing you could do is while I've got those two selected, I can right click, and will it allow me to? No, it won't allow me to. That's all right. We'll keep moving. Let's have a look at 6/4. Okay, and you might be able to predict where I'm going to go with this one. So let's go through this one quite quickly. So let's select this one. So for 6/4, I've got my 4 beats here. Let's change the image on what I'm looking at there. Okay, this is the rhythm that I'm creating of what the notation looks like, and we might just move that up a little bit, make it just fit in the window. Here we go. We've got my C rhythm, and again, I've got a D rhythm. Okay, so I've got beat 1 is the light grey, beat 2 is the dark grey, beat 3 is the light grey, beat 4 is the dark grey. Go to my D section, beat 5, and then beat 6. And then the same thing, I'll be pasting in my C rhythm. Will I do it? I'll start it here. I'll leave a little bit of a gap. So if I paste in my C rhythm, we'll have a listen to it. Okay, so I'll paste in my C rhythm there. And then I've got to come in and find... Wait a minute, that's why it's not linking. I can't see it. I've got to change it to 6/4. Let's delete that one and let's try it again. Lovely when you're doing this on the fly without a script. Okay, I've got that pasted in there. And let's just have a listen to it. That's just the C rhythm. And then I've got that little bit of a gap there. So I'm going to go roughly about there. Not roughly, faint line there. And then I get my D rhythm, paste that one in. So that should blend those two together. Okay, and then I copy my C rhythm, which is the start of it, put that right on my next bar line, paste that in. Okay, and then so on. I just keep reproducing those to create my 6/4 bar. Okay, hopefully that's working well. So we've done basically time signatures with a 4 on the bottom, and that should be pretty clear. Let's have a look at this one. A little bit different. I've got some examples of 3/8 and 6/8. So let's just mute those last ones and look at 3/8 very quickly. Let's change my music example. There we go. This one's pretty easy. And let's go to my 3/8. There it is. I've got 2 quick examples. Now, with 3/8, now you've got to think about what's the subdivisions, what 3/8 means. 3/8 means that there's 3 quaver beats. The 8 stands for quavers or eighth notes, depending on your system that you've learnt. So we've got 3 quavers there. Okay, and we've got to think about how this sort of thing views your quavers. So here, remember how we're doing normal crotchets? That was filling that up, and a quaver was literally at the subdivisions there. Okay, the halfway points of what a crotchet would be, the 4 subdivisions or semiquavers, adding up to the light part being a whole crotchet beat. Crotchet beats in 3/8 is a little bit different, where a crotchet is literally 2/3 of the bar. We've got to have the equivalent of 3, a dotted crotchet, should I say, being a whole bar. So here, I've got my first beat of the bar, or my first quaver is going to be starting there. My second quaver beat of the bar is going to be here, and then my third quaver beat of the bar is going to be there. So let's just hear this rhythm. Let's take it back to, I'll just play it. Okay, really, really simple rhythm just to try and get us in. And so when you paste that in, we'll just change our time signature to 3, 8. Okay, so that's sorted out my little bar lines and things. Let's just have a little bit of a listen to what that sounds like when it repeats itself. Okay, and when you paste it in, it's only going to be that much. Will fill the equivalent of a bar there. Okay, let's go to my next rhythm. I've got a little bit more complex rhythm here. So again, it's still only that much of length, and you can see the notation that I've got there. Where's my mouse gone? There it is. You can see the notation that I've got there. I've got my double kick there. So this is a repeat of the same thing, so it's 2 bars worth. Okay, so I've got my double kick there, or the 2 semiquavers. I've got my 2 snare drums happening there, and then I've got the hi-hat, which are like those little X notes going across the top there. Okay, so let's have a quick listen to this pattern just by itself. Okay, and when that's pasted in over here, so I'm starting at bar 8, let's hear it repeated. Okay, now let's just hear this with the metronome. So let's go back to the first rhythm. Oh, is my computer going to cope? So that's all in time. Okay, and then without the metronome. Okay, so hopefully you can see how 3/8 can work, but you just got to think about where the quaver beats are going to sit across this much of your drum machine. Okay, so feel free to copy this one, have a bit of a play around with it and change the rhythms up for a 3/8. Let's look at my, excuse me, my last example, 6/8. So this is a very common sort of time signature. Okay, and I'll change my little notation thing so you can see what this one will look like. Okay, so I've got 2 little examples here. There we go. Okay, so the first one, again, like with 3/8, we can have 2 dotted crotchets per bar with this one. And basically, I've done this example is a double of what the 3/8 one. Okay, because 3/8 is sort of like 6/8, but doubled up a bit. So let's hear this one and what it looks like in the mixer here. Okay, and again, that lines up with these bars, only if I change it to 6/8. There we go. So that's 1 bar lining up there. There's the second bar lining up there. We can have a quick listen. You can see how it's lining up with my bar numbers there. Now my second little example here, let's go to my B rhythm. Okay, so that's that second rhythm over here on my little notation. A little bit more complex, but again, it's using the same sort of space of the mixer. So I'm only really coming up to there within the mixer. So let's have a listen again just in the drum machine view. Okay, and we paste this in there. I'll paste the third one in there. Okay. Okay, and then I've got my 6/8 rhythm in there. So, quick little recap. When we were dealing with the 4/4 or the 4 on the bottom type time signatures, literally every one of these sections, where it's the light grey and dark grey, forms 1 crotchet beats worth of semiquavers. However you want to create your rhythms there. Then, if we went to like the 3/8, 6/8 example. Okay, yep, that's that one. You've got to think about how much of the first sort of 3 sections there you're using, and that you're sort of using a quaver subdivision or beats. So you just got to think about it a little bit differently. So think about copying these ones if you want to. I've kept these on the screen for a bit, so it should be easy to do a bit of screenshot. Punch them into the drum machine and have a bit of an experiment, have a bit of a play with it, and work out how much you need versus the time signature to copy and paste it into the different sections and have a bit of a play with it. The MIDI tracks, MIDI instruments will work really well with this if you want to play along to any rhythms because we're matching it up with the metronome. If you're using some of the loops, be aware that a lot of those loop files are designed for more of the common time signatures for a lot of the traditional sort of pop songs and things. I haven't found many of the loops that use different time signatures. I'm happy for people to, in the comment section, let me know about any others. There might be some loops that use different time signatures and I'm curious to know about them. I haven't gone through absolutely every single one, so please give me some feedback on that one. But that pretty much concludes things. If you have any questions, definitely let me know about those in the comments. If this was helpful, please let me know. It was a little bit of a longer video this time around as we went through a few different examples, but hopefully it's helped you guys out. Tick the like button, hopefully, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again.